Thanks, Siri. Okay, let's get it going here. We got you, Siri. Here we go. Check one.
Check 1 2. Check 1 2.
Here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, so sorry we're late, guys. We were I gotta make sure that this one's free, or it's not free, or something.
This one's not supposed to be free.
It's not supposed to be free, so don't be just I'm gonna edit free access. Will it knock everybody out then? I'm just gonna not touch it right now.
What are you trying to do? Did you put it through Patreon?
But I put it free.
You can't kick people out now. The link is there.
Okay, done. Okay then. Okay. So we are working. The reason we are late is that I was working at trying to book a guest, and very excited, Jeffrey Tucker. You guys probably know. You definitely would recognize him. But he is from the Brownstone Institute. He's the guy who, along with the other people who signed the what agreement?
He helped organize the Great Barrington
Yes.
Declaration during COVID and all of that. And he was like a Ron Paul guy from way back with those presidential campaigns, which is how I was aware of him. But we met him in Connecticut, which was awesome.
Great. He was great. The whole group of them were
very,
fantastic.
very cool guy. And he organizes these events for the Brownstone Institute, which is sort of, I think they call it like the spiritual child of the Great Barrington Declaration. And so, anyway, we wanted to talk to him about all these Fauci revelations. I guess we should start there because...
I guess so. I mean, then we have to go back because there's Hunter Biden. There's White House
so much stuff. There's so much stuff. But the Fauci stuff is the newest stuff. And
this is amazing. If you're somebody who always thought that this guy was a weasel and a self-promoting...
And really liked green rooms and being famous.
I believe somebody said green room addict or something. Is that what I called it?
Yes.
Way back then.
Green room addict. You said he liked the brie.
Yes. This guy is precisely who you thought he was. This trove of... Somehow it's his autobiography.
So they have his diary, which is what... Yeah. This was a document dump from... Rand Paul, who I guess they must have been investigating like what he knew when or something. But basically, like one of the things they have here from him is his diary. And so he, going back as far as March of 2020, was very into the personal fame aspect. So this is from his diary. Then, big front page article about me appeared in the Washington Post. Very flattering. The situation with my national and international fame is explosive and really unimaginable. It is not hyperbole to say that I am the most famous and talked about person in the country and one of the most recognizable persons in the world. Countless profiles on me in multiple media. I cannot even read.
Can you imagine?
Okay, if you are going to keep a written diary, which, like, you probably shouldn't because somebody's going to get a hold of it, but don't write that about yourself.
No, unless you're me, we can...
Destroy any evidence that you feel that way about yourself.
Well, no, you would keep a diary in a journal. Definitely you would keep a diary in a journal, the same way Nixon kept tapes or Kennedy kept tapes, or you would definitely keep a journal because this is an important historic time. But you wouldn't keep a journal of your media hits.
And how famous you are.
Yeah.
Countless profiles on me in multiple media. I cannot even read all the things that are written about me since I am so busy. Seriously. POTUS seems to be enamored of me, even though I'm taking the spotlight away from him. We are developing a very unique and interesting relationship. The entire Secret Service Corps is coming over to me and chatting. They let me into the first gate without even checking ID. Everyone is worried about my health and welfare, probably because it is all over the place that I am almost 80 years old.
Count profiles on me, he says, right?
Mm-hmm. Continued crazy stuff. Petition to name me Sexiest Man Alive. Video games named after me. Fauci bobblehead. Dishes in restaurants named after me. And on and on.
Freaking amazing. Amazing. This guy just ate it up. He ate it up. And we knew here. We knew. There's another one where he talks to Chuck Todd. Like he was...
Terrific experience tonight. On my walk tonight with Christine through American University campus. On the way back, we were met by throngs of American University students who were illegally sitting on the grass, enjoying themselves. In groups of 3 to 5 people, they kept coming up to me, wanting to get photographs and selfies. It was truly amazing as it went on, group after group after group. I must have posed for photographs with over 50 young kids from American University.
Freaking amazing.
Then on my way down past Al Dente restaurant, where we stopped to pick up a pizza, customers outdoors and inside the restaurant kept coming up to me, asking to be photographed with me. My pizza took a long time to be ready, and so I must have spent 15 minutes at the door of the restaurant, allowing people, mostly young kids, but some adults, to have selfies with me. The entire situation was culminated when I walked out of the restaurant with Andre Jacobs, my security man, and the entire population of people who were eating outdoors at Al Dente, and Chef Jeffs burst into a prolonged round of applause.
Holy friggin'.
It was really quite charming. Andre had gotten nervous throughout the entire situation since some people just ran up to me with their camera in hand to get a selfie. Andre does not like people just running up to me and almost body slammed a man who meant well. Mm-hmm.
That's a security guy?
Yeah, who didn't realize he had charged up to me. A memorable experience.
We've got to get the vaccine. It's got to be deployed, and we can't abandon fundamental public health measures. You can approach a degree of normality while still doing some fundamental public health things that synergize with the vaccine to get us back to normal.
So not until the second or third quarter of 2021, though. Christmas is probably not going to be possible.
Yeah, well...
Can you imagine how much they deferred it to this egomaniac? They totally deferred. They never asked him any questions. They never went back at him, ever.
Mm-hmm. This is him talking about in 2022 when he received an honorary degree from Rockefeller University in New York. At the end of his presentation, Rockefeller President Rick Lifton was very generous in his praise for me and pointed out that the audience at a celebratory dinner was giving me a standing ovation, which I could not see since I was connected to the affair by Zoom. It has been an extraordinary spring with all of these wonderful honors that I have received. This will have been my 58th honorary degree.
Freaking amazing. Amazing.
He goes on about how he threw out the first pitch that evening for the Mariners in the New York Yankees baseball game. In contrast to the disastrous pitch at the Washington Nationals game 2 years ago, this was a perfect pitch to the manager of the Mariners, Scott Servais, who served as the catcher. Sat in the owner's box at the stadium and watched the game, had a great conversation with Eddie Vedder, lead vocalist and guitarist for the rock band Pearl Jam, and his wife, Jill. Eddie reminds me a lot of Bono.
Oh my God, he's freaking name dropping. Guy's 90 years old. Oh, my God. Here's Chuck Todd. We'll get back we'll get to Chuck Todd in a second.
When they announced me as receiving the award.
Country that would accept if a ruler tells us you must do this. I was talking with our UK colleagues just today who were saying the UK is very similar to where we are now in our outbreak because each of our countries have that independent spirit, but we don't want to be told what to do. Well, I understand that, but now is the time to do what you're told. And I think it really is something that we should be doing right now.
What an a-hole. What an egomaniac
One of the things that was striking about the evening at the ball game was that when they announced me as receiving the award with giant pictures of me on the photo cam, I received a prolonged standing ovation from 45,000 people in the stands. This is his diary. This is what he writes about himself and his life. Yet the far right is exemplified by the newspaper The Washington Examiner put on YouTube the headline Fauci booed at Mariners game. They put the microphone next to 5 or 6 people out of the 45,000 who were booing and saying,
"This is what's going through his head."
And they completely ignored the 45,000 people that gave me a prolonged standing ovation.
Do you remember when people were saying Trump's not staying on target, Trump talking about putting ammonia to, Trump. This is what was going through Fauci's head when he went out there. This is what it was.
Once the process is complete, does that mean they can take off their masks? They don't have to social distance? They can just go about their lives as before?
I would recommend that that's not the case. I would recommend you have an added area of protection. Obviously, with a 90+% effective vaccine, you could feel much more confident. But I would recommend to people to not abandon all public health measures just because you've been vaccinated. Because even though for the general population it might be 90 to 95% effective, you don't necessarily know for you how effective it is. So when I get vaccinated, which I hope to, when it becomes my turn to get vaccinated, I'm not going to abandon completely public health measures. I could feel more relaxed and essentially not having the stringency of it that we have right now. But I think abandoning it completely would not be a good idea.
Because 5 to 10% of the people that get immunized, it will not be effective for. So they might actually get the virus if they just completely let down their guard. Okay, that's interesting.
Way to do your work, Jake. Way to cross-examine.
Oh, wow, interesting. Yeah, but so it's funny, obviously, that Fauci is a self-important, narcissistic, green room addict, sexiest man alive, all that. But where it gets really interesting, and Rand Paul has put out there a bunch of things about his hypocrisy on the COVID stuff too, like him saying he knew way back that the wet market was not the origin of the disease. Yes. He knew that it was a super spreader event, but that the disease existed before that. So he's gone and put a bunch of the statements side by side about what he knew when, and clearly he was lying a lot from the very beginning. But to me, the worst thing here is the actual corruption, because what he was doing from his role in our government, where he made, what did we decide he made? $400,000 a year salary?
Yes.
So, but he also controlled a lot of government grant money that went to research funding and stuff like that. So he controls all this research funding to all these different organizations. And while all this stuff is happening and he's so important and everyone's giving him ovations and all of this stuff, and he's accepting his 58 honorary degrees and blah, 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 and first pitches and whatever, he's also accepting a lot of prizes that pay out a lot of money.
Yes.
And the way that you get nominated for those prizes is somebody has to put forward your name and nominate you.
Right. But ideally, in the world, organically.
Right. But what he was doing is he was going around to various people that get all the funding for their organizations from the government under his NIAID funding that he was in control of the purse strings for. And he was going oh, great, here's your funding. By the way, can you nominate me for this award? And some of these have prizes that are $1 million.
Amazing.
And because of his fame and celebrity, he was winning them because he's so famous and they want to be a part of this thing. And he's essentially giving people all the information to nominate him for these prizes, and they're doing it because he controls their funding.
That ain't corruption, man.
It's so bad. And it's the USAID stuff all over again. It's you and I are chumps paying into this pot of money that they just dole out to their buddies, and then it circles back to them as other forms of money. And I think that's what's so upsetting here. And obviously, we knew that he was a corrupt jerk like this, but it just goes on and on. His special assistant emailed him, congratulations, you're rich. Bank transfer for the $1 million prize from a foreign university for being nominated. But this is it's so bad. This is the NIH 2854 for the Dan David Prize has been approved. Choose your review, print, blah, blah, blah. This is what's amazing is it's he's getting literal cash transfers for winning these various prizes because he's having people essentially that have to keep him happy nominate him. And so this is he's not directly getting taxpayer money, but it is in that sense he's using his control of taxpayer money to nominate himself for prizes, and it doesn't cost those people anything to keep putting him in for all these prizes. But it's truly a disgusting situation all around, and
it's amazing. But By the way, he also mentioned that he asked Chuck Todd, who I consider a friend, he says in this particular passage, whether or not he should go on with Tucker Carlson or respond to Tucker Carlson, because Tucker was becoming problematic, questioning Fauci's decision-making and ethics, believe it or not. So Fauci asked Chuck Todd what he should do, and he said, Chuck gave me some good advice. He had to be impartial because he's a journalist, but it helps to have him as a friend. Here's Chuck Todd with a few words on Fauci.
That's where we're going to begin, because joining me now is the single most respected voice in the pandemic. It's Dr. Anthony Fauci. It's good enough for you, sir. It's good enough for me and my family. So thank you, Dr. Fauci.
There you go. There you go. There's your media. Freaking amazing. Here's some more media from our buddy Tom Elliott, who's doing a great job catching this stuff.
The single most respected voice in the pandemic. It's Dr. Anthony Fauci.
The man who's become known as America's doctor.
The nation's top infectious disease expert, Anthony Fauci.
You are seen to many as a superhero.
Dr. Anthony Fauci, American hero and New York Yankee fan.
You've done so much for this country in terms of this crisis, so I really appreciate your insight.
Who better to give us answers that we can trust than Dr. Anthony Fauci?
Perfect person to answer our questions today. Joining us now, Dr. Anthony Fauci.
Dr. Anthony Fauci, appreciate your candor.
Dr. Fauci, appreciate the candor.
We appreciate your service to this country.
We appreciate your service.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you for your service.
Greatly appreciate your service to America.
Thank you for your 37 years of service, I believe, to 7 presidents, and thank you for your work over the past year.
The great news is you're sticking around in the Biden administration. We are so grateful to you, Dr. Fauci, for everything you do.
Thank you so much for everything you do.
Thank you very much for everything that you do.
Thanks so much for the work that you do.
These are journalists who are supposed to be finding facts, asking questions. None of them held their feet to the fire. None of them.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for the reassurance and, as always, for all of your public service. Thank you, Dr. Fauci.
Thank you for all your guidance this past
more than a
year,
minute more of this.
It's greatly appreciated.
Dr. Fauci, on behalf of all of our viewers here in the U.S. and around the world, thanks very much for doing what you're doing. Thanks very much for joining us. Please thank your entire team as well. We are all grateful.
Get your rest because we need you.
You are one of the busiest scientists in the country right now. It is an honor to have some of your time to help us understand what is going on. I know a lot of people have a lot of questions, so we appreciate your time, sir.
We need people to continue to have faith in science. So thank you for your time, sir.
Thank you for
You
being
lied
straight with
about
us.
it.
Thank you for being able to come on. You will always have this show as a platform.
Thanks,
So
Chris.
whenever you can be here,
Only 30 more seconds
we'll have
of
you.
this.
It's always an honor to have time with you. Thanks for being here.
It's good enough for you, sir. It's good enough.
This is the free press who spent Friday night or Saturday night giving them each other awards over how thorough they are at their jobs, asking the hard questions, holding truth to power.
For me and my family. So thank you, Dr. Fauci.
Dr. Fauci, thank you for keeping it straight. Thank you for fighting the good fight.
I am sincerely appreciative that you are not walking away from this post. You make us smarter and safer and better every day. Thank you so much, Dr. Fauci.
This ghoul is just grinning.
Dear.
There you go.
Here it is saying in his diary, got a call from Ari Emanuel today. He told me he'll be coming to Washington, D.C. in the next month and wants to come over the house for dinner to explain to me how naive I am and not fully appreciating just how much money I can get from book deals, films, and speeches. Ari's been calling me about once every several weeks just to check in on me and see how I'm doing and maintain the connection. He's obviously very hot to be my agent when I step down from the United States government. So glad you're enriching yourself on the public dime. It's so gross and embarrassing. Has any one of these people ever considered doing something useful for humanity?
No.
We know that when you do it properly, you bring down those cases. We've done it. We've done it in New York. New York got hit worse than any place in the world, and they did it correctly.
There you go. You did it correctly. It's fantastic. I mean, it's obviously the guy should have been in jail for quite a while ago. But it just goes to show you just how many of these people are just grifters. We already knew it. I mean, obvious. When Francis Collins does a video with Puff the Magic COVID or whatever he called it, with his wife swimming across the screen, these people are insane, corrupt psychotics. That's what they are.
Yeah.
But we have allowed them into government. And when you're in government, you just get promoted and promoted and promoted and promoted and sheltered and
you get like infinite money and access to infinite ways to make money, and there's like this revolving door between the actual government that's using taxpayer money and these, you know, NGOs, nonprofits, lobbying groups, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And all of it is making money from tax dollars, whether directly or indirectly. You know, even lobbying groups are making money from taxpayers because obviously the industry people are paying lobbyists because it nets them out at least that much in government money at the end of the day, right? So all of this stuff can't be separated. The reason why all of these jobs and everything exist in the Washington, D.C. area is purely to exist off taxpayer money.
Yes.
Whether they work for a private company or not, like all of this is because like Washington, D.C. on its own doesn't produce anything of value to the world.
Correct.
It's only doling out government dollars. That's all it does. So I don't know. We watched that thing about with Elon Musk being interviewed, and we played it on the show the other day. So,
we did. Okay.
But yeah, I think we did. And you know, they were asking him about how, I think we played it on the show before, didn't we?
Yeah, well, I played it.
They were
it might have
asking
been
him,
Friday, actually.
I don't remember, but
I played it on
anyway,
Jerry.
they were asking him about like how many people
USAID.
died from USAID and whatever. And we did, because then we talked about the transgender prostitutes in Asia or whatever.
Yes, okay, good.
Yeah, so all of this like weird guilt tripping, the second anyone suggests that maybe we should examine where some of this money goes to, this like flood of billions and billions of dollars all the time, you can tell by the reaction that they're addicted to the flood of money, because none of them have jobs.
Correct.
Without this flood of money, everything, their entire existence is all about like the taxpayer money. How does it get dished out? Who gets it? Who gets more of it? Who's deciding who gets it? Who's appointed to what? Like it's all everything that goes on in DC is happening with taxpayer money at the end of the day. Like that's just how it goes. So, you know, people are going to complain about like Trump's reflecting pool contract or whatever. And this is why you can't get people to really care about it, because all of Washington, D.C. is disgusting.
Yes.
You know, maybe he handed out some sweetheart deal contract for somebody to do the reflecting pool. But, like, how can you get me to care about that when all the rest of them are like this?
Yeah. What time's a good time for you tomorrow for that interview? Do you know yet, or do you want to wait?
I don't know, probably after work hours at some point.
Okay. So whenever we'll do this, we'll do it as part of the show live?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like 6 or something? I don't know.
I'm going to say 6?
Sure.
Does anybody have to be anywhere?
I don't think so.
Okay. I'll send a note. By the way, let me break the ice a little bit with this is Canada opening a bridge to Detroit, and this is how the ceremony starts.
We're going to sing a song. I'd like to ask everyone to please stand in honor of our ancestors.
My name is Nikki Van Orscott. I'm Chief of Caldwell First Nation, and our community is Place of the Red Cedar, and I come from the Turtle Clan. My spirit name means Carrie's strong mind.
Turtle Clan, Alice. There you go. So I just wanted to break up the show a little bit with that, but that's not just.
Well, it's in Maine also.
It's in Maine also. That is correct. Let me grab that.
Do you have that guy?
Yeah. I do.
Steve Robinson handily dismantled this gentleman too, talking about how the Native American tribes absolutely signed over.
I want to pause first to recognize that we are meeting today in the unceded homeland of the Penobscot Nation. The Maine Democratic Party acknowledges that the Maliseet, Micmac, Passamaquoddy, and Penobscot tribal nations have long been stewards of the places where most of us live and work.
Wait, pause for a sec.
And that they are...
When were Native Americans most recently stewards of the land where you live and work?
The...
Like 16 something?
Yeah, probably 16, 70, depending. Yeah. What do you mean? Well, they were stewards.
They haven't been stewarding anything.
No.
Have long been stewards of the land. There's none of them here.
They're stewarding the land.
Unless you're going to go home to Europe. There's no stewards here.
But isn't it worse? Isn't it like more polite just to say nothing?
I would think so. If you really thought you stole the land from somebody.
Just to say, okay, we admit that this is yours. Yeah, I admit, by the way, that I took your wife and I've been having sex with her and she doesn't want to. But I admit that I did that. And I'm not going to stop, by the way, just so you know. But I admitted that I've done it and that she's rightfully yours. You did not cede her to me. But it's fine. So I admit it. And by the way, I'm going to trade her and sell her for other wives as well. And I admit that that's bad too, but at least I've admitted it. And we're not going to change the injustice. We're not going to fix this whatsoever. But you get a shout out at the beginning of every meeting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and finish his speech because then their reaction.
And that they are entitled to recognition as distinct sovereign entities.
And the crowd all cheers, yay, we're on stolen land, yay!
We're terrible. We're not moving, though. We're terrible and not moving. Two things can be true. Holy frig. All right, do you want to get to Hunter Biden? And Nick Fuentes? We don't usually play Nick Fuentes on this. But that's something that's happening. And it's funny because some inside... I'm not going to give you inside baseball. I will just say this. I'll personalize it to us. So I just had this conversation with somebody else. Would you have Tucker Carlson on this show if he'd come on?
Yeah.
Even though,
yeah. I probably would, yeah.
So would I. I just think that, one, he's never done anything to me. Two, you're allowed to have the views he has. 3, he's done a lot of good work. 4, he's interesting. Yeah, I mean, and I still would not have Fuentes on. I don't want to be part of that. Would you?
No, but I think when you say Tucker's done a lot of good work, I think that's what it comes down to. Like, Tucker still has some credit with me for, having put in a lot of good years.
The impact of his show, especially in the first few months.
Of the Trump administration?
You cannot say enough. When he had
but I mean, he was around doing good work before that.
But he didn't have a primetime slot where he could really blow up.
Right. The cultural impact of him during the first Trump administration was so huge. And I don't know. So I give him a lot of credit for that still. Whereas I don't necessarily have the ongoing... I haven't had the ongoing relationship with Nick Fuentes media that he puts out where I am invested in it. And so even when he goes off the deep end and does crazy things, I'm still there because I was never that much there to start with. If that makes sense.
Yes, no, I get it. And the Fuentes thing is too that let's say, he's trying to he kind of is trying to temper.
Let me ask you this. Would you have Michelle Malkin on?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
She's tough for me. I don't know.
Well, I don't know what she says anymore. But she's been good to me through the years, and you met her, and she was lovely.
I liked her.
What's her thing? Where is she on things now? Is she
yeah, kind of.
Is she? A lot of people have changed. A lot of people have gone sideways. I don't know what to say. I mean, I've enjoyed her. She was an important voice too.
Yeah, she was. So I don't know exactly what the difference is to me. I do kind of like Michelle Malkin, but I don't know.
I mean, it was very important, I think, to have 20 years ago, to have Michelle Malkin, Laura Ingraham, and Ann Coulter out there being the 3 smartest chicks in media. I really think it was.
Yeah.
And it was also good because they were all attractive. So,
but yeah, she's hanging around like with people who are even further.
Would you have Candace on?
No.
Really?
No. I find her behavior to be like so despicable.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, the Charlie Kirk stuff is obviously despicable. Yeah,
like the making up insane things about Erica Kirk, I think, is like kind of beyond the pale.
It is, but I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't have Fauci money. Like, you throw me a bunch of Fauci money and, $30 million and ask me to be a different kind of whore. I've never been tested like that. Like, I haven't been tested like that. So I don't know what I'm made of morally. Like, when it...
I guess, but Tucker Carlson doesn't need the money.
Well, right, but, people like... Money begets money, right? People like having money?
I guess so.
But yeah, I mean, like, Okay, 6 p.m. tomorrow.
But,
Is that good for you?
Yeah.
That's great.
But, Tucker Carlson still has people on that I like and I think are interesting, and I go and watch it.
He does. And actually...
I don't buy into all his stuff, obviously, but some of his guests I really like, and I still watch those episodes, so,
Yeah. What are we gonna do?
But it's a
now?
free country. You're allowed to talk to some people and not other people, and you're allowed to even do it without like a really rational reason.
Would you have Megyn Kelly on?
Yeah, probably.
So would I. Even though she's much more of I feel like an operator. Like she's knows how to sniff out success.
But you know what I'm saying, right? Where it's like you're allowed to say, yeah, I'd still like to talk to Tucker Carlson and think that was cool, and I wouldn't talk to Candace Owens and like not have any particularly good reason to separate one from the other. Do you know what I mean?
So
like you can just say like, nah, I find this person distasteful and I don't like that. That's allowed.
Let me ask you
like
this.
I don't have to have a really principled stand and be like, nope, I can just like dislike Nick Fuentes and like Tucker Carlson. That's like that's acceptable. It's America,
We should pitch Tucker, actually. With this Fauci stuff. Although we have Jeffrey Tucker on tomorrow. If you have Tucker on, Alice, do you feel... You're not really a full-time member of the media, but when you're here, you are, kind of, I guess.
I guess.
Do you feel like you would have to challenge him on Israel?
No, not necessarily.
Would you avoid the subject?
I mean, maybe. I don't know. Like, no, I wouldn't. I don't think I'd go out of my way either way. But I also think it depends, like, what we pitched him, we wanted to talk about, and what we said. I think it's bad vibes to invite somebody to talk about one thing and then, like, challenge them and trick them on something else or whatever. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
But... yeah, like I also think it's okay to disagree with people, but I think generally, unless you're like inviting somebody to a debate about something. That being said, Tucker does do that. He invites them to what seems like a friendly interview and then shanks them, which is like...
Tucker?
Yeah.
Well, I think in the first 2 years of his show, people didn't know that they were about to get shanked. Then
No, but he's done that even recently. Remember when he did that to Ted Cruz about Iran?
Yeah, and he did that with Huckabee, or tried to do it with Huckabee, I think, a little bit. But, I mean, you knew Ted Cruz should have known what was coming.
Yeah, no, I know. So,
and also, I don't think it was a particularly effective shanking. Yeah, my feeling with Tucker is I'd avoid Israel.
Yeah.
But then if he started to go on a rant about it, then I'd have to get myself on the record somewhere there.
Yeah.
Be awkward and uncomfortable.
So, I mean, but like generally you don't invite somebody on your podcast to talk about something you agree about just to like trick them into a debate over something they weren't planning on talking about or whatever.
No, he's done that. He did that to Asa Hutchinson. He's done that to a few people. Here's another thing though. I think worse than talking to controversial people is trying to impose a blacklist. Like having the guys from the Dispatch say, Megyn Kelly should not be talking to this person. Should not be talking to that person.
And that's the problem that I have with it.
They say Rich Lowry should, why is Rich Lowry talking to Megyn Kelly?
Well, yeah, that's the thing. And then that extends outwards.
Yeah.
And that's why I think that it's fine to say, I probably wouldn't talk to this person just because I kind of find them distasteful, but I might talk to this other person anyway, even though they might talk to the person that I find distasteful. Because what that, dispatch blacklisting attitude does is it's oh, you can't talk to Megyn Kelly because she talked to this person who talked to Candace, who talked to whoever. And if you start doing that, where does it stop?
No, it's a great question.
So-and-so talked to so-and-so, talked to so-and-so who talked to somebody that I don't like. So there you go. It's so annoying, the whole cattiness of it. You should just be able to talk to people and not be held responsible for every view they've ever had or every person they've ever talked to.
Totally agree.
So you're only responsible for what you say in the world.
I agree with that.
So, I mean, and by the way, if we did talk to Tucker, it's not like we'd be platforming his views or something.
Right.
We're not loaning legitimacy to Tucker, so I think we're fine. But yeah, I mean, it's an interesting question. It's an interesting question with all of media as the sort of right-wing media ecosystem matures, kind of separating the wheat from the chaff in terms of, I don't mean in terms of people, because I think most people are complicated and have some good content and views and some bad. But what I mean is separating the good and useful content from the bad and toxic content. Because on either side of the media, it's full of bad and toxic content that's confirmation bias, telling you what you want to hear, stories that are feel good. The problem is for the left, that on the left, their toxic, insane, fever dream, conspiracy theory garbage content is on their mainstream cable channels.
Yes.
And
yes.
all the good, educated, serious people all think that it's true.
Correct.
So it's, versus and that's the category that I put Candace Owens in or whoever, is it's Rachel Maddow post 2016 election. She's just friggin' going on and revealing documents and has the spider web of strings and pictures attached to the wall, in
she's got
those
a huge
movies,
audience for this stuff.
But I mean, so did Rachel Maddow after the 2016 election. People love that stuff. People love that stuff. And I don't know, it brings up this thing. I've been thinking about this a lot because, Annie No has this book out about the Zizians.
Yeah.
Remember I've talked to you about the Zizians? And so that was all born out of this sort of AI rationalist movement in the San Francisco area. And I don't know. So that's all. If you go into our Twitter feed, there's Eliezer Yudkowsky is there, and he's out there. They've been out protesting about AI. And here, I'll send it to you again so it's back at the top of the messages. But, they've all been protesting about AI. But it's interesting because it does breed this type of cult thinking. So for context, Eliezer Yudkowsky, he sort of founded this rationalist movement, and it's a whole scene, and there's a lot of people involved in it, many of whom are very smart, have Stanford computer science degrees and all this stuff. And he founded an AI company that became what they call the Machine Intelligence Research Institute, MIRI, which is a nonprofit that's all about AI safety, supposedly. Mm-hmm. But mostly what it is it's a group of really smart rationalist thinkers led by Yudkowsky, who they don't develop AI or anything, even though they probably could. A lot of them are very smart, mathy people, but they spend a lot of time philosophizing about how AI is going to kill us all.
Yes.
And he makes from this nonprofit about a $600,000 salary for himself. You're not involved in NGOs and nonprofits. That's the way I feel like. So, but this is what he does all day is he thinks about how AI is going to kill us all. And Bernie Sanders has gone and interviewed with him. But yeah, here he is at this protest. So listen to him talking to people.
If enough people don't join this protest, if we do not shut this all down, you will die, your families will die, your kids will die, everyone will die. It doesn't matter which company builds it, doesn't matter which country builds it. Stop the AI race or it will kill you.
He's a psycho.
Well, right. But a smart psycho who has written a lot of like books and blogs and stuff that have convinced a lot of very smart people of this almost like religious cult cause. And this movement, I don't think it's an accident that the rationalist movement has splintered off a whole bunch of other cult-like groups, including the Zizians, including like the effective altruist movement, which joined with them and had Sam Bankman-Fried, and that was run like a cult. So many like polyamorous, friggin' ethical BDSM, like so many accusations of abuse and cults and this and that and nonprofits that they set up and infighting that they have. And it's like impossible to keep track of all their inside baseball fighting that they do with each other. You only notice it or hear about it when one of their like weird splinter groups like the Zizians breaks off and causes a problem. And I say this knowing that there are a lot of people who have been involved in the rationalist movement who are very smart people, right? Like, Slate Star Codex, that whole blog, Scott Alexander. You probably don't know the names that I'm talking about, really. But there are lots of people that have been involved in this movement.
This is what you do when you're on your phone, curled up on the couch, huh?
That she's like a rationalist sex worker / sometimes computer programmer who does online surveys about stuff. Like, there are a lot of people involved in this movement who are smart and well-meaning, but I think there's something specific about this type of like religiosity, we're all gonna die thinking, and this sort of I alone am equipped to save everybody because I am super smart and special. And it reminds me of Fauci in a weird sort of way, because these are people believe this because they are really smart and they think that they've determined that there's this existential risk to humanity and they have a responsibility to humanity, an obligation to save humanity from this existential threat. And so they, of course, think that it's important that they start a nonprofit that pays them $600,000 a year to think about how important it is that they save the world from this threat. And of course the Zizians had all kinds of like mental mind hacking things that they were doing that led to all of them becoming trans murderers or whatever. But yes, of course, if you're involved in these movements that impart you with this special messianic importance, like that you're this figure who's super smart and endowed with special technical skills and the special vision that you must save humanity from itself, then like it's going to cause you to act out in really weird ways. Don't you think, if you're like convinced by a cult like that and brainwashed into that?
Yes. No, I think that you think you're on a critical mission that's life or death for millions and billions. And by the way, can we roll Fauci into that?
But I think he is important. Yeah, he's like that. He thinks he's saving humanity, and he's been convinced by all the fawning press coverage and everything that he's like the savior of mankind from the coronavirus, and so he deserves all these things and all these awards. And you've got Ari
Emanuel and these other,
hangers-on people,
superstars saying, "Hey, but you should be making millions in this. Let me come over and show you how to do it." That's what we do. So they're all liars.
Yeah, and of course they're doing that because they want a cut of it, because that's how Washington, D.C. works. To some extent, all the people in D.C. are like that. They all think that they've been given a really special mission to save humanity, and only they can save us. And it's very important that they take our tax dollars and funnel it to other very smart, very important people who are going to save humanity.
Yes.
Like when you listen to the people who get fired from the Elon Musk things and whatever, that's how they all, I can't believe this important work is no longer getting the attention it deserves. And they're all applauding when they get let out of the State Department and with the little crayon signs up there of, you were important, you made a difference. Like, it's all just degrees of the same level of thinking. And it all turns into, like, all of it comes from a total lack of humility, obviously. But it also...
Well, I think it comes from a total lack of humility, but I think the total lack of humility, as well as the inflated self-esteem and self-importance issue, comes because we're not used to being, held in awe by people. Like, it's unnatural. Mm-hmm. It's unnatural that a whole bunch of 500 people love you and are adoring you at once in one moment.
But yeah, I mean, no wonder all celebrities are psycho.
Yes.
No wonder they go up to accept the Oscar and tell us all about things that they have no business talking about. Because everyone acts like they're so freaking important and brilliant and amazing all the time. You know? And yeah, like, I don't know. It's fascinating because to prepare myself for the Odyssey, I've been listening to the Fagles translation of the Iliad, and then I'll do the Odyssey too, obviously, but just I figured I'd go in order.
Well, I hope if you're going to do Fagles, then you better do the Odyssey. Before you go any further, can I just step in here? By the way, we were setting up for Hunter Biden and Nick Fuentes.
Oh, right. We were
but I do like this. I do like here. This has gotten big again. I think this is a few years old, but there's Anne Hathaway at some human rights thing.
With the exception of being a cisgender male, everything about how I was born has put me at the current center of a damaging and widely accepted myth. That myth.
Yes,
is
myth.
That gayness
Turtle
orbits
Island.
around straightness, transgender orbits around cisgender, and that all races orbit around whiteness. And it is a myth that keeps money and power in the hands of the few instead of being invested in the lives of the free.
How many presidents counting backwards do you think she could name in order? I will certainly say not 10.
I bet she could get...
all the ones who were around when she was around.
I bet she could get to Kennedy. I bet most people who are adults, who are like roughly kind of educated, I bet they could count backwards to get to Kennedy.
Ford's a tough one. Okay. Okay, go ahead. You were saying something before I stepped in you.
Oh, but I was gonna say, like, part of the thing in the Iliad is that, you know, some of these people are like larger than life heroes, you know, half man, half god, or, you know, described as godlike, and the events of the world just sort of swirl around them. You know, like that destiny is shaped by these larger than life people like Helen or Achilles, who are like distorting the universe around them because they're godlike and important. And I mean, I think, you know, to our modern sensibilities in ways that are like evil. I mean, obviously the Greeks are like raping and pillaging cities without a qualm in the world.
The Greeks alone.
Well, all ancient people were. It's not unique to the Greeks.
The food is good. The women are hot.
I love the Greeks. I'm reading ancient Greek poetry. Well, I'm not reading the poetry. I'm having it read aloud to me in a British accent in translation, but it's a lovely translation. So, I think that people like yearn for and want these larger than life heroes and celebrities and people, you know, these like cults of personality, and they want to feel like they're on an important world changing mission under the banner of this larger than life godlike leader.
Yeah, especially
like
when
people
you talk
have
to the
a
Greeks.
natural inclination to that type of like, oh my God, we're on this like mission from God, destiny, like you should watch out for that instinct whenever you feel like you're on an important mission from God and battling the forces of evil around you, you
Yes.
should probably watch out for that because you're probably not.
Well,
you're
there's also-
probably not
yeah.
being called
There's
to any great important destiny, and you should shut up.
There's
Like,
a famous. It's
mostly.
funny that you talk about that people yearn for this stuff, and especially when it comes to these kind of Greek tragedies and tales. There's a very famous English poem that talks just about that. It's called "Ode on a Grecian Yearn."
Hang on.
Pretty good, huh?
That's great. Yeah.
Thank you. Is that
Yeah.
English? That poem? Ode on a Grecian Yearn.
But I think it's interesting, like all these movements, whether it's like environmentalism, climate alarmism, we're all gonna die next days, or the like Gaza genocide stuff. Like,
For a lady who doesn't do a podcast anymore, you have a lot to say.
they all are thinking that they're like all these friggin' middle class college chicks think they have like some unique destiny and responsibility to stop Israel's genocide or something.
Yes.
Like, mostly just go about your day, okay? Like, it's not... You're really far from that.
Yes.
You know, and like, I understand that type of attitude can be used
We
to
are out of
justify...
time.
Okay. So I understand that type of attitude can be used to justify like complacency in the face of evil, like just go about your day while the Holocaust is happening in your backyard. But I also think that like the opposite can happen, where thinking that you're on a mission doing all this good and that you have like a really important role to like stop the forces of evil in the world is
What would
almost
you call that complex?
like a God complex.
Okay.
I don't know, whatever. But yeah, I don't know. So I guess we'll have to talk about, but we can't stop for the Patreon show because you're streaming to everybody today. So
Oh yeah.
we can't do a Patreon show that's locked.
Oh.
So the Patreon show will have to be for everybody.
Is God capitalized?
Yes.
Okay.
I thought you were going to name the episode Sexiest Man Alive.
I'll tell you what I wrote down. I wrote down countless profiles on me.
Mm-hmm.
Does that work?
That also works too.
Yeah. Or do you want Sexiest Man Alive? You think it's better?
I don't know. Doesn't matter.
What do you think's better?
I don't know. Ask the chat.
Okay.
So are we doing a Patreon show or no? A Patreon show that's available to everyone?
I guess so. We should, right?
Yeah, but I mean, like, it'll be available to everyone. Do you care
So what
about
am I
that?
to do here? I'm just
I don't know.
keeping going?
I guess so.
Okay, so it's not really a Patreon show if it's available to everyone.
Yeah.
Oh, you're right. Okay. Okay, so we'll just keep going.
Okay.
Kim Possible 25 says, this can't be real. He's over 80. That's Fauci talking about meeting Bono. And Eddie Vedder. Can you imagine the most effing important person?
Do you know who his diary entries remind me of most, actually?
No.
They remind me of my dad's text to me from hospice.
Oh, okay. Well, but your dad, I don't think would... I mean, why is an 80-year-old talking about meeting Eddie Vedder? It just tells you where his priorities are and always were. Joey C. Comic, that's Joey Carroll, I think, he says, wow, Frodo is off the Shire and delusional. It's Fauci. I bet the reason he's never been photographed without shoes is that his feet are furry. Very possibly he's a halfling, Alice. That's from the Odyssey, by the way.
Yeah.
Cheswick says, did he keep his diary in his Hello Kitty backpack? Cheswick says, when are the Tate brothers going on in your podcast? I'm not a Tate guy. I wouldn't want them on. I like the whole...
Yeah, it doesn't really appeal to me.
The whole thing about like be totally gay or else you're gay, to me is like, gay. Okay, so I guess then we go to the chat. Is that what we do? How's this go? How's this work?
Yeah, I guess do the chat.
Okay. Maybe there's no messages. That way we're... Sorry I screwed this one up.
I tried to create a funk version of Don't Forget Me When I'm Gone by Glass Gay Tiger.
Yes.
And even AI wouldn't allow it. That's how gay that song is.
Don't forget me when I'm gone. Dun, 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 dun. It was definitely kind of a gay song. Not a bad song, though. That wasn't me who said... It's like Tommy from New Hampshire loves that song, not me.
Hey, Billy from Manchester.
Hey, Billy.
You know, why is it everything that this guy Shattuck turns, it turns into pyrite, fool's gold? I started listening to now the Robinson Report. So basically, every podcast gets ruined. He hates his friggin' audience. Tom hates his audience.
No.
So he hates it whenever he's on these shows. Now I got to listen to the Robinson Report. I'm trying to listen to some audio. It's just there's a guy, one of these dorks on the tube, Featherston or someone is or whoever they are. They're typing on a typewriter.
Yeah.
It
Seamus,
seems
probably
over everything. I mean, there's no professionalism whatsoever.
A working
anymore.
man.
The wife is yawning. The one of the kids is yawning. Annoying kids everywhere.
No.
Tom just gurgling and gargling every time. It's just there's nothing professional about these 6 shows that he's on. And it's very frustrating as a listener. 56 seconds.
Incorrect. Nobody's frustrated.
Hey, Tom and Alice, John and Greenwood here.
Hey, John.
I'm calling about that hit country song Alice told us about.
Yes.
I recognized it this morning when this lady was walking through the neighborhood and she was playing it on her phone loud enough that I could hear it.
Yeah.
And I commented to her that that's like the #1 song in the country right now. And she's like, oh, I love it. And I was just wondering if its popularity has anything to do with the USAID funding reduction. You heard, right, how the rap and hip hop
I have heard that
got markedly less popular once USAID dried up, right? Well, anyway, maybe there's a connection.
USAID
All right,
was
talk to you later. Goodbye.
That USAID was secretly funding the music industry to promote rap and hip hop. That's a conspiracy theory.
Would we be shocked?
That's a conspiracy theory that it's out there. So now that like Elon Musk killed it and moved it to the State Department, that like now country music is back.
Now Ella Langley.
Yeah. Yeah, we actually talked about this a lot this week. Well, I guess he forgot.
Hey, Ella.
The Smoky Mountain Rain. And I heard you guys, you know, one of our listeners was saying on Twitter that I must live under a rock when it comes to music, and this song is like that her voice is what you hear when you get to heaven and blah blah blah. And like I was reading you the YouTube comments on this video, like they're all like that. They're all like, oh my god, this is the best song to come out in decades. People are gonna listen. Part of it must be a nostalgia thing for like old school country, I guess. Our daughter also told us that among young people, she's like has a reputation for men liking her songs more than women.
I can see that.
So, I mean, I don't know if that's part of it, but it's a fascinating phenomenon to me because I have no problem with the song. Like, I think it's a good song, but I just don't understand it. To me, I don't really get why it's like the best thing to happen to music in decades. Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
I don't listen to it and I'm like, oh my god, I can't believe, like, where's this been all my life? Like, I don't. It's fine. Like, it's good. It's good.
Can I posit a theory for you? Do you know the song "Constant Craving"?
No.
"Constant Craving" came out in about 91, I would say. And
yeah, I'm guilty as charged for living under a rock when it comes to music, by the way.
Katie Lang, who's a lesbian country artist. I think she's a lesbian.
Okay.
And this song was everywhere, and it never stopped. And this was at a time when I was living in when I just graduated. This is 92, so I just graduated high school, and I was out in. I was going back and forth a lot to Kentucky because my brother and I lived in a trailer. He was in the Army there at Fort Campbell, and so I drive back home a lot, a few times anyway, whatever. Mm-hmm. And so I just go straight through. It was like 18 hours or whatever, and you'd hear like there were only 17 songs being played, like John Cicada and like that, and Guns N' Roses, and so these songs get just beat into your head. Life is a Highway, that was one too. Never got sick of that. But "Constant Craving" was one that was always there. It's a haunting, pretty song. You probably will know it. Let me play a little bit of it. And also, I like I said before, I delivered pizzas in a VW in a huge area in Tennessee, Kentucky, VW Bug. And so I couldn't always get AM to come in reliably, and sometimes I'd have to switch to an FM song, and this song would constantly be on. Not yet. Come on, Katie. Get to the chorus. We're getting there, girls. It's a You don't know it?
No. Sorry.
Anyway, it's kind of
I apologize for our lack of music.
It was on everywhere. And as the song for me, I never hated it. I always thought it was just fine. It was a big hit. But I did think, and I still think now, that had I been in love or was falling in love or being in the middle of heartbreak, that song would have caught.
Mm-hmm.
So my feeling is that maybe this song that's out there by Ella Langley, maybe it's catching people in a mood.
Maybe, yeah.
And that's what it is.
And especially if it's like a nostalgia mood, because those hit you hard. Don't you think?
Yeah, whatever it is. I think people are attaching it to something. I don't know how long the song's been. I mean, it's been the summer, so maybe it's the summer song of going out and partying. I don't even know. I'm not young, but I don't know. So that's what that is. Man, we have derailed this show, but I do like it. There was no rail to begin with. Okay. But if there was, we're not on it.
Elon Musk should have asked that interviewer how much the British government, she was British, right?
Yes.
How much the British government has been donating to African causes. Oh, wait. They used to own most of Africa, didn't they? And then they were chased out because of imperialism. Yeah, he should have brought that up.
Ooh, that's nice. That's a nice point. Maybe next time. Although I don't know if Elon's going to talk too much about...
I think he's not a trillionaire now.
Dutch imperialism.
Some of his stock went down, and he's
did it?
not a trillionaire anymore.
Hi, Steve from Merrimack.
Hey, Steve.
Sean Hannity, an army of one. What a freaking dick. Oh, my God. I can't believe he still has a show.
Yeah, that was great. That's from him taking the gun, and I do the swipe, the clear.
And then I rack it.
I rack it, I do the 4-3, and I've got to...
Hey, Tom.
Hey.
I wanted to alert you. Last Friday,
there
was a letter published. It was a full-page advertisement, and it was to all the governors, mayors, first responders, and anyone entrusted with public safety, disaster preparedness, and relief. And it is the most woke thing you'll ever read.
Oh, freak!
It's supposedly they're talking about El Nino and how we're all killing the planet, and how El Nino is going to be bad because we don't stop using cars.
Right.
The second person to sign off on this letter is Mark Ruffalo. Let me give you the names: Adam McKay, Mark Ruffalo, Joaquin Phoenix, Jane Fonda.
Oh.
And then they sprinkle in some PhDs. God. Just a little show note if you want to look that up. It's from last Friday's Herald. It was a full-page ad.
Yeah, that fits right in.
Jerks.
Let's remember to find that.
Yeah, that fits right in with what we were talking about. These people with a God complex. Only they and their expertise can save us from impending doom.
Let's do a little. That's it for the shout. Do a little Hunter Biden, okay? With Nick Fuentes.
Yeah, so this was on a podcast or a whatever YouTube channel. Because Hunter Biden had gone somewhere and he'd been saying on podcasts like, "Oh, I wish I could talk to this kid Nick Fuentes and tell him XYZ." So there's this other dude there who's like sort of set up the chat with them. And one of the things I enjoy about this is they do actually get into it. Like we were saying, if we had Tucker on, we wouldn't like get into Israel. I do think there's a world where you can have podcasts where the idea is that everybody agrees that they're like going to get into all the controversial things. And if you do that right, it can be like one of the most interesting conversations. So this was like Hunter Biden and Nick Fuentes, and they like really got into all the things, which I thought was like very fun to watch, actually.
Yes.
Nick, I can think of about 4 things that I really wish you would take back right now. But the cookies in the oven?
Well, that's a joke.
But it's not, Nick. My wife is Jewish. My son is Jewish. No, Nick. I promise you.
If you don't know this is Nick Fuentes saying, well, if you have 6 million cookies in the oven, it kind of seems...
each batch of cookies takes X long to make. Can you bake 6 million cookies
in other words,
5 years
the Holocaust
or whatever?
didn't happen is what he's saying.
Don't get mad.
I'm not mad.
Okay, I know. But you got to understand how incredibly whether it's a joke or not. It's a lived experience passed down from generation to generation, whether or not, and by the way, not just from the Holocaust, not just from 1939 on, 2,000 years of history, okay? Forget about Israeli politics and Netanyahu, because I think we agree about Bibi Netanyahu. I'm positive we do.
Mm-hmm.
And I've listened to you talk about it. But you got to understand. Look at me, man.
I see.
It hurts. It hurts.
Does it?
Nick, I promise you it does.
I'm with Fuentes on this so far. Like with him saying it hurts.
Like Hunter Biden is not actually hurt by the cookie
No.
joke.
So like that.
It's an offensive joke. I wouldn't make that joke.
Of course.
But,
of course.
But Hunter Biden's not feeling a sense of personal injury about it.
No.
Like, let's be real.
When you compare my wife's family to cookies going to an oven,
That's not really the point, Hunter. The point wasn't that they're the same as cookies. The point was he was saying it didn't happen.
Right.
That's what he's saying. He's freaking Hunter. Stay on target, man.
And you've got to understand that. And by the way, I'm looking at you.
Yeah.
And I believe that you do know that.
See, that's where you lose me. That's where you lose me.
Okay, Nick. Okay, I'm telling you.
Well, listen, are we here to talk or are you here to lecture me and
Okay,
preach
no,
to
you're
me?
right. Let me listen.
Okay.
You're right.
So this is the thing, because...
So, it should be said that Fuentes obviously is just a vile human being with vile views. Fine, whatever. Hunter has been a more damaging human being in his life.
Oh, yeah.
To real humans.
Well, yeah, to real humans, to his like daughter and whatever.
Yes.
And like, yeah, I don't know. It is interesting because he doesn't have like a lot of moral high ground to lecture Nick Fuentes about his very dangerous views.
No, and I think this is a disconnect. I think that the left, and even people on the right, they're losing the young people. Why do people love me? Not in spite of, but because of the outrageous things that I say. Not in spite of, but because I say offensive things. Because I, let's say, drop the N-word on a video or something. It's because people are sick of the preachiness, the
Nick.
lecturing.
Okay, I'll listen
They
to what
really
you
are.
say. But Nick, I disagree.
By the way, Hunter himself dropped the N-word in a bunch of text messages.
I think that you're appealing to the lowest common denominator of thought. If you're hating on the people that they think are the reason for their suffering, then you must be on their side. I don't think that you believe that about the Holocaust. I think you think the Holocaust did happen. But forget about whether or not you think that it is used politically in a way that is obtuse and wrong. But I think that you do believe that. And I think that you have to. Like, what's your cultural heritage?
I'm Italian, Mexican, and Irish.
Mexican.
Okay. Well,
He does at one point here tell him, do you have the one where he tells him
I'll go right through
that that he passes for white? And Nick
I don't know.
Fuentes
Is that
thrilled
one
by
of the
that?
ones we sent?
Yeah, I just sent it to you again. It's
Okay, you have this one?
They were looting and
Who's
carjacking.
they?
The criminals.
Yeah. Who are?
Mostly black.
Nick, I
Is that not true?
Yeah, maybe, Nick. I don't know.
That is such a good one.
That is tough because you need to maintain or establish some intellectual honesty if you're going to try to win this debate. Okay, you just sent it. I'll go right to them, whatever you just sent.
Do the one that says where he dabs him up for saying that he passes for white. It's like the second to last one that I sent you.
Okay.
They did. And I'm not going to lie. I mean, people made fun of me for that.
What'd they say?
They did. And I'm not going to lie. I mean, people made fun of me for that.
What'd they say?
Well, like, for example, one time when I was in Model UN, I was entering high school as a freshman. They looked at my name on the roster without knowing me. And they told me this after the fact, the leadership of the club. They said, oh, we thought you were just some Mexican kid, so we gave you a bad committee assignment.
Wow.
But see, I heard that and I laughed. I said, that's funny. Whereas a lot of people would say, oh, that's traumatic. I'm a victim of racism. I think that's, it's just a human thing.
Yeah, I always felt like growing up as like a white
Nick,
kid in America.
What if you went? Wait. What if you were and identified as being Mexican, and they came to you and they didn't tell you that's the reason that they gave you all the bad committee assignments?
That would be unfair.
Yeah.
It's
That's
interesting.
the
I'm just
point.
saying.
That's the whole point, isn't it? And so you may find it funny because you pass as a white Anglo-Christian.
Do you think I pass?
What?
Do you think I pass as a white Anglo-Christian?
Well, I not only think you pass, I think you identify as it. Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah. No.
Okay.
I mean, you talk about the anger that's out there and the frustration, and I think part of the frustration, let's be honest, is that white people do feel like we are being boxed out in major cities in the country, and it feels like, look, there's a little Haiti, and there's various ethnic enclaves where you get that local culture, and they do their, cultural festivals and that sort of thing, and white people feel like they're being pushed out, and they want a space where things are familiar.
Do you feel the same way about the Italian festival that happens in every city?
Well, here's a good example.
Or St. Patrick's Day?
Well, there's no Irish neighborhood in Chicago. Little Italy.
There is.
I mean, there's some
Also,
remnant in Bridgeport.
yeah.
And
It's important to note that, and I'm not trying to get into a shouting match here, but as a family coming from a family who did leave Philadelphia in the 60s because of black migration from the South.
Yeah, that's the long one. I think we can say that one. Do you have the last one?
Yeah.
Which is actually from the beginning of the interview, which was a pretty funny one-off also.
Yeah, I'm a crackhead.
But I'm racist, right?
I got pigeonholed there. Mine is true. Yeah.
Yeah. My mine's a little true. Maybe a little, no. But yeah, so I think it'd be good.
There you go.
Yeah, it was an interesting I do think he exhausted Hunter Biden a little bit.
I ran circles around him. Yeah, he's got too much. Practice. You can't just beat him. Let's do one Trump cut here. Trump.
We haven't done any of the White House correspondence.
I know. Well, I think the Trump Caitlin Collins cut is really it. I mean, that's the big one, right?
Yeah, I think so. That's the one people are upset about.
I learned a lesson, but I want to personally congratulate CNN's Caitlin Collins on receiving her award. It was all about me. It's a fake. She shouldn't get the award. It was a fake, but I didn't mind. I said, Caitlin, congratulations. But it was fake. There's no question about it. But she's a young, attractive woman. She never smiles. I said, Caitlin, do you have a smile? Smile. You have a nice position. You're at CNN Fake News. You should be a happy person. So smile, Caitlin. Just smile. But we attack, and I thought Caitlin had really made it big with a major new sponsorship, but then I informed her that it wasn't her on the Bud Light can, it was Dylan Mulvaney. And Dylan Mulvaney cost Bud Light $35 billion in market cap. That was the worst commercial ever made, by the way, for those few people that want to hear that. Most people don't care, but I would. I wouldn't want to hire Dylan anytime soon. Think of it, they hired Dylan Mulvaney, and their market cap has gone down by $35 billion. Who wrote that commercial? And then you have writer Josh.
So there you go. And people say he bombed and he roasted them. He went up there.
I mean, in that room, sure.
Yeah, of course. I have no problem with that. I think that's great. And
the Dylan Mulvaney thing is especially amazing because, and I have friends that I've been texting with for years speculating about Caitlin Collins, which is not nice. But I can say that it's not nice because I wouldn't want anybody to think I look like Dylan Mulvaney. But the left, of course, can't say that that's not nice.
No.
Because Dylan Mulvaney is lovely and beautiful and talented and a woman and just as attractive as every other.
A girl.
A girl just as attractive as every other girl.
Yes.
And like to say otherwise is absolute blasphemy. So nobody on the left can actually get mad about this joke? Because why shouldn't Caitlin Collins be compared? Like, isn't it like saying she looks like Penelope Cruz or anybody else?
Yes.
There's nothing to be upset about there. So the left has mostly not said anything about this because they're petrified of, like, they all feel bad for Caitlin Collins because Trump said she looks like a dude pretending to be a woman.
But they're not allowed to say anything really, but they all tweeted out pictures of like Tapper with Caitlin Collins and
yeah, she tweeted something else like nobody else can make you feel inferior without your consent or something.
From Eleanor Roosevelt. But yeah, but Caitlin, what are you saying?
Why would you feel inferior being compared to
another
very famous and talented
woman,
beautiful actress Dylan Mulvaney? Like why would that be insulting at all?
I agree. It's freaking beautiful. The fact that they were bitching and moaning and saying it wasn't funny. It was mean-spirited. Like, F you people. You're
How
fine.
is it mean-spirited?
You're fine when you go after Sarah Sanders. You're fine when it's like suddenly and Stelter's out there saying, by the way, these weren't jokes. That piece of crap's going to tell us what a joke is?
Yeah, and speaking of people who have mostly lost their ability to be funny because they're taking themselves too seriously, can we really quick do the Jon Stewart Kamala Harris thing? Because Jon Stewart, of course, was the epitome of funny, like no sacred cows, make fun of everybody, right? To Gen Y, to like millennials, right? He's supposed to be the like irreverent, he'll make fun of everyone. And, you know, somewhat to his credit, a little bit, he was part of the contingent of the Democratic Party that made fun of Joe Biden losing his mind and was mad, like along with the Nate Silvers of the world, was mad that they didn't get Biden out sooner because they felt like the Democratic Party was getting screwed by pretending to prop up this old guy who was not capable of doing the job. But here he is talking to Kamala Harris about it here.
And I don't mean that in the personal sense of not ready. I meant it more in the sense of the policies that he wanted to implement or the way that they were implemented or the governance obstacles more than the competence conversation.
Yo, I'm not talking about competence.
Oh,
right.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I'm not talking about competence at all. No, I believe he was fully competent to serve.
Do you really?
Yeah, I do.
That surprises me, actually.
No, I do. There's a distinction to be made between running for president and being president.
What's the distinction?
Well,
now he knows this is funny. You can see it on his face in this interview.
Yes.
He knows that the fact that she's saying out loud she thinks it's harder to run for president than it is to be president. He knows that that's a comedic thing for her to say.
Yes.
That's a natural setup for humor.
Yes.
And he somewhat gets to it later, but go ahead and keep playing because he stays serious.
Yes.
President of the United States is about being in a marathon at a sprinter's pace, having tomatoes thrown at you every step you take.
That sounds lovely.
Yeah, it's more than a notion.
Get involved in public service, ladies and gentlemen.
And to be the seated president, the sitting president, while doing that, it's a lot. It's a lot.
Yeah. I think it's a hard case to make for people that he didn't have the stamina to run, but he had the stamina to govern. Because I think most people view the presidency as a marathon run at a sprint with tomatoes being thrown at you in terms of governance. So I think that drawing that distinction. And again, I recognize the incredibly difficult place you are in with that, with personal relationships. And, you know, I've been surprised at how much people talk about loyalty. And it's funny in the book, you know, it creeps in every now and again because it'll be like, I love Joe. I'm loyal to Joe. He's the best. But, you know, he gave that 11-minute speech and it wasn't until 10 minutes in that he said anything about me. Like, it's hard, I guess. You're still people. It's hard to get the personal feelings of.
Okay.
Is it? I mean, but have you ever seen a person who's supposedly a funny person like shove down their natural instincts to know that this is humorous so much? It's awful. And it's because like they can't, there are certain things that they can't tell the truth about on their side, quote unquote.
Yes. Well, now more than ever. Now more than being Jon Stewart is tough right now. There's no freaking doubt about that. All right, guys. All right, Albie, thank you so much. You're great. Let's talk into the microphone. Thank you so much.
And I said, I don't usually burn, but I can feel you on my skin and couldn't help but breathe you in and forget to put sunscreen on.